Next week, the government publishes proposals for what the Justice Secretary has described as his rehabilitation revolution. This is Ken Clarke's plan to cut the numbers serving short prison terms and millions of pounds off the criminal justice budget. For the last 2 years, the Metropolitan Police has been running a pilot project to reduce reoffending, the largest of its kind in the United Kingdom. The Diamond Initiative has targeted 6 areas in London which have the highest reoffending rates. It offers the only test so far of what the government can realistically expect to achieve. Our Home Affairs correspondent Simon Israel has been given unprecedented access to the project over the past 4 months.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
It's the end of yet another sentence for Dean Duffy. This time he spent 8 weeks inside Brixton Prison for assault. He's greeted by someone from a housing charity and a police officer from the Diamond Project. He's scared of returning to homelessness, despair, drink, and the vicious circle.
Well, hopefully the most important issue is the housing thing. I need to get a roof over my head. If I'm on the street, I'm only going to probably end up drinking, and then I'll end up doing something stupid and probably end up back in there.
Do you sleep on night buses?
Yeah, the number 12 bendy bus, yeah.
Really?
And just do circles around London. Or sometimes I'd sit in the reception of the plaza down opposite the MI5 and just pretend I was one of the clients there, one of the tenants, as long as you're dressed half smart.
Dean Duffy has a string of previous convictions, 38 in all, and 11 prison sentences and a host of community orders. But today, maybe, just maybe, the start of a new life. Police have pledged to do all they can to stop him returning to the other side of these walls. He's become part of the Diamond programme. The day before his release, Dean Duffy signed up to a deal where the Diamond team agree to sort out his life outside, and in return, he agrees to stop reoffending.
Is there anything else you can think you might want a bit of assistance with?
That's it, really. I just want to try and get my life back on track.
Okay.
The Diamond Project is a £5 million a year rehabilitation programme which aims to save millions more in prison costs and to be part of the Justice Secretary's rehabilitation revolution. One of its units is based on this housing estate in the London borough of Southwark.
Not really.
Immigration question mark on this Tilly person.
Yeah.
Meet the Diamond team.
It's all right, because I've got a pre-sentence report for somebody else.
Police officers.
This guy got 10 months, yeah?
Sitting alongside probation officers. Sitting alongside housing officers. For the first time, all under the same roof, and all of them with one aim in mind, to keep petty criminals out of prison. James is already well down the road. He's just about managed to stay out of prison for almost all of this year, but it's by no means easy. One of the Diamond team, probation officer Colin Budd, swings by at least once a week. Today, he's helping him through a minefield of bureaucracy, housing, job seeking, appointments, and a mountain of paperwork. The deal in return is that James stops stealing bikes and doing drugs.
What's the difference between the Diamond Project and any other, and a probation officer who you have to report to every week?
I don't know, they're there more for you, and they give you extra support, more than what the other ones that you just said would be. Plus he makes sure he comes round and kicks me out of bed and all. Make sure things get done.
Not physically kick him out of bed.
Well, Kate gave me £2.
James is what's termed an under-12, one of thousands upon thousands clogging up the prison system, who are sentenced repeatedly for short-term periods of less than 12 months. They're not eligible for support on release. James is now 33. This is him, 23 convictions on.
I think I've seen a change in his behaviour, and we've stopped getting the police intelligence that he keeps getting stopped, and so...
Or we're finding him with stolen goods or something like that.
Yeah, so there's nothing. No, there's nothing
The
to
door hasn't
indicate.
come in for quite a while now, so
No, no.
The door hasn't come in.
yeah. Normally it comes in every so often.
Not the front door.
Yeah. I've got my old front door in my bedroom still.
Have you really? What, from being kicked in so many times?
Yeah.
In fact, it didn't have a door for quite a period of time. Well, it was, but it was just wedged up against the frame.
To shut it.
You had to pick it up to walk in, so security wasn't exactly.
Officers on the Diamond team aren't in the business of kicking down doors. Every day they try to recruit offenders to the project instead of banging them up. They're not producing handcuffs, but offering a helping hand.
It's a diamond team.
Would you do you want to get a job? Or?
I wouldn't mind. Definitely.
You feel like you've got any issues with sort of debt, finance?
No, I ain't got none.
No.
None at all.
It's all good. It's basically work.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a move away from conventional policing in an attempt to break the cycle of arrest, court, prison, where costs can no longer be sustained. Do you think it's working?
I think it's working. I mean, there is a lot of people that aren't engaging, but there are some very successful ones where some of the people we have helped, you can see how it's changed them. You know, they're at the start, like, you know, they wouldn't have trusted you. Now they're ringing up the office when, you know, they need help with something, a CV or whatever it is. And those ones, it's great to see. You know, you can see how they've come on.
Diamond's been running for 2 years in areas of London with the highest reoffending rates. 2,500 have been through the project, aged between 17 and 67.
Because I personally, passionately believe this is the right thing to do. I passionately believe that the police service...
It's the brainchild of the Met's Deputy Commissioner, but proving it works, and so should be a key part of the government's rehabilitation revolution, is not so easy.
I think I had in my head this vision that, you know, within a year we'd be able to show that offending had halved in our sample, you know, the people going through our Diamond initiative compared to our control. But I'm not sure that that is going to be the case. I think actually, looking at the way it's going, some of the offending will be pretty similar. And it's quite frustrating as to what is it that's stopping us having the impact that we will. And the key theme that keeps coming out from that is drugs and mental health.
Signing up to Diamond, in theory, should mean no more reoffending. In practice, life is never as simple as that.
Does everyone get a second chance? Third chance? Fourth chance?
We look at the bigger picture and discuss it amongst the team, amongst the sergeant, amongst probation, and then we think if they're heading in the right direction, we'll persevere. If it's obvious they're not, then we're all wasting each other's time. But I can't say everyone gets a second chance. We need to look at the bigger picture on how their general behaviour is and if we think it's worthwhile.
So am I worthwhile? Am I worthwhile?
Well, if you change your behaviour, of course, because you've been nicked a couple of times since you've been on the scheme, haven't you? You know, being in that shed, you know. So, you know, we could have made a decision then and said, that's your lot.
Enough's enough.
Yeah, we're not doing this anymore, and then this all goes out the window.
Those supporting this project are sensitive to the accusations that the police and other agencies are going soft on crime. They argue that the persistent high reoffending rates in areas like here in Southwark show the limitations of the tried and trusted methods. Diamond's problem is to show that it can sustain an impact that will cut millions off the criminal justice bill.
Working out what success may look like for the Diamond project is the task of an independent jury of criminologists and economists. They meet every 3 months to evaluate the data, to assess the returns on the £5 million investment. Their final report is due early next year.
Nowadays, everything needs to deliver within 6 months. And if it doesn't deliver within 6 months, that's the end of it. And something along these lines, where we're looking at drugs, mental health, we're looking at chaotic lifestyles that have been going on for many, many years. You're not going to do that in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, which is why we have to set realistic targets that we want to make a difference in. and that's going to be challenging. They're going to stumble, they're going to fall, they're going to end up back in prison, but we've actually got to change it.
Could you tell Mr. Lewis that we came to see him?
The Diamond team.
The Ministry of Justice has declared there's no money to invest, but has plans to give back to Diamond a percentage of savings it makes in the future on criminal justice costs. But funding for Diamond, for James, for Dean, and for hundreds of others is going to have to be found elsewhere.
So after 2 years, does it work or not?
I'm told by our academic friends who you've already spoken to that we need to properly track and monitor against control samples, and that this will be one of the first time such a study of this size has been done in the UK and probably in Europe.
6 days on from his release, and Dean is now sleeping at a friend's house and is on a council's housing waiting list. James has been back to prison just once for 1 week in the last year and is due to be rehoused shortly.
That special report from Simon Israel.